Well, hello Taurus, this is Joe, and we're going to do your July 2020 General Tarot reading. This is an intuitive reading, so it's not going to be for everybody. It's not going to resonate with everybody, but for those of you that it does, please be sure to let me know. Leave me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want to hear more. So we're going to get right into it. We are going to see, I've already pre-shuffled the cards, but I'll give them one quick mix up real quick here, and let's see what is going on for Taurus in July 2020. All right. So for the situation, you have faith. What's crossing you? 3 of Wands. Nice. Okay, so you believe in something is coming your way. You have a belief, a hope, a big desire. Let's see, and the foundation, King of Wands, very good. What is above you? 2 of Swords. All right, so some choices, decisions. I think that you want to be able to make a decision with clarity. You want to be able to make a decision that is best for you, or you have made a decision or will make a decision that you're hoping will bring something your way, the way that you want it to come out. So let's see, some more cards right here. 9 of Coins, and right here, 5 of Wands. And Taurus, July 2020. Okay, 9 of Cups and the advice. Your influence is the Magician. And 7 of Cups. And the Emperor as the outcome. We'll probably clarify that. And bottom of the deck, Knight of Cups. All right. So, Taurus. This is an interesting spread. The way I see things in July with faith here, you probably have been waiting as you're into July for something to really go the way that you've been wanting it to go. You may have gotten to the point where you've made some decisions or have made a decision, and I think this decision might have to do with your family. This decision probably has to do with a personal relationship of some sort. And I think that you're hoping that these choices or this choice that you've made is going to, is going to go the way that you want. So we're going to explore this a little more. So you're definitely feeling in July, relying on your faith, your belief in whatever your spiritual belief is. You might be doing a lot of meditation. You might be doing a lot of praying. You definitely have a big feeling of hope and a desire here to have things kind of change for you, change for the better. So you have the Knight of Cups, and with this Knight of Cups being the overall bigger picture as far as how you are feeling and what you are thinking, the Knight of Cups kind of shows that this is not something that is materializing very quickly, but this is definitely something that's coming your way. I think this is something that is going to materialize for you, but you might have a little bit of a struggle through the month of July with some of this. So you may have a relationship that involves family, children. This could be a spouse. This could be something to do with fixing a marriage, trying to mend a marriage, trying to mend a relationship that involves children and family. And I think you do, this Knight of Cups to me kind of represents that. It's being, it's coming through, but it's coming through slowly. So this isn't a very fast and quick feeling, but nonetheless it is a feeling of success and forward movement in the direction that you want things to go. You have the Two of Swords, so this is this can be about indecision. This could be about a choice, but I don't think this is something that you are choosing. I think that this is something that involves a choice which involves your partner. And so you may be waiting on your partner to decide how they want to handle something. You may be waiting on them to decide how they want to proceed. You may be hoping that your partner makes a decision to further the relationship, and there may have been talk about separation. There may have been talk about maybe parting ways. There may have been talk about divorce or whatever, but I think that this is something that you're waiting on. This is something that is maybe a little bit out of your hands, and so you're hoping that the two of you can definitely work through this. Going into this, I never know if it's going to be what it's going to be about, but this is definitely about that family relationship. So, but crossing you, you have the Three of Wands here, and the Three of Wands is about hope also. This is also about hope and desires, waiting, and about, this is like patiently waiting for what it is you are really wanting to see happen, patiently waiting for something to either come into your life, but I don't think this is about something coming into your life. This is about waiting for your partner to kind of come around and decide that, what is it they want to do with this relationship? What is it that they want to do, and how do they want to handle things? So it definitely is a feeling of past enjoyment, but there's also something that has come up at some point this year with regard to your relationship that has been difficult. It has been a little bit hard, and there has definitely been a little bit of conflict and disagreements, but I think that you are receiving good advice, you are receiving good support from those around you, and that also comes through with this Three of Wands. Now, the King of Wands is in your foundation, so this is a lot to do with your subconscious feelings, and it's a lot to do with what is going on maybe behind the scenes in the background. But this is all about that passionate desire to strengthen your marriage, strengthen things where they are weak, strengthen things where they need to be built up. So you do have a lot going on as far as this relationship goes, and I do very much feel this is about a marriage, and I do feel very strongly this is about children and family and home. So Taurus, if you've been kind of going through this, you do have a period here that in July that still might be a little bit tricky. It might be a little bit difficult. It might take a little bit of work. There might have to be some, trying to see eye to eye with things, and maybe trying to see your partner's point of view, and as well as they're seeing your point of view in order to kind of put some things to rest, because there is a little bit of conflict. There is a little bit of struggle still in July with this. But you have the Ten of Cups and the advice, okay? And so I think this Ten of Cups is really saying to put the focus on what is important. put your focus on not just yourself or not just them, but look at the bigger picture. Look at the whole picture. So instead of if you are having arguments or fighting and going back and forth, this to me is really saying to look at what is best for everybody as a whole, and to make that the focal point, and to, if you have this energy of going back and forth with fighting and arguments, that focusing on one another's shortcomings is going to just further any conflict. So the advice is to focus on what is important to you overall as a whole. And I think that would be those that are around you in your immediate family, those that you love and care about. And putting your focus on that helps you to see that there is a bigger picture, that some compromise is necessary in order to resolve some conflicts, in order to move forward and get out of this this fighting, these arguments. I almost feel like some of you have spent a lot of time together, and that's my cat going through the cat door. They've spent a lot of time together, and as of lately, and it may have just been a little too much. You may have just gotten at each other in a way that you normally wouldn't, and so this has brought out some things in your relationship that have been a little bit raw, and some things may have been said that probably shouldn't have been said. So anyway, with that, what's influencing you though is the Magician. And this is great. I love this because this is a great card to have, especially in the area of your hidden influences, or the things in your external environment that are bringing you assistance. You have the ability to balance. This is about balance coming in. This is about balance between you and your partner, and really looking at things pragmatically. This is also using your strength and using your intellect, using everything, all the elements, fire, earth, air, and water, is what I think and feel here about balancing everything in your relationship, in your home, and it brings a lot more harmony. What that does is allows things to get better. It allows things to flow more naturally. It allows things that seems impossible to become possible in your environment in July. So I think the Magician in your external influences is going to bring that balance, that harmony, and some restoration into this relationship in July. Now you have the Seven of Cups. This is hopes and fears, and to me I feel like this is representing an overactive imagination, and you may be worried that that things just aren't going to go in the direction that you want them to, that there's still something that's going to hang this up, there's still something that's going to not go in a positive direction. And so I think you are overthinking. This shows that either you or your partner may be overthinking things, maybe not seeing things still clearly, and this is something that you worry about. Maybe you worry that what they're saying and how they feel isn't really how they're communicating or what they're communicating. So definitely some worries about what is how things are going to turn out. There's this feeling of maybe a little bit of disbelief that everything's going to be okay, and there may be a little bit of disbelief that things aren't going to just kind of come to fruition. So this is definitely a lot of worry about that, either on your part or your partner's part, that things are just not going to materialize. But you do have here in your outcome the Emperor. And to me, the Emperor is standing your ground. The Emperor is, it's about being in control. It's about leadership, but this also is an indication that there is a great amount of stability still in the month of July. And I think this hints at how things are going to play out. If things were going to play out in a negative way, this card wouldn't come out. So things are going to play out in a way that brings new stability, a better foundation. There's going to be a feeling of being empowered in July. And so I think things come around in July, probably late July. By the time you get to the end of July, things probably are feeling a lot better. But we're going to clarify some of these, Taurus, because this is definitely a read that has a lot of conflict. And I think the biggest hang up in this reading is this Two of Swords. What is it that you're most worried about with your partner? What is it that they need to decide? What is it that they're thinking about that might have you so worried? Because there does seem to be some worry in this, but you have hope and you have faith and belief and trust that this is going to turn out okay. You have belief that this is going to eventually it's going to work itself out, and I think it does. I think it does, but I think it takes a realignment of what it is that's prioritized in your relationship. So we're going to look at the Two of Swords, and we're going to see if we can get a little bit of clarity on that. So it wouldn't be too unusual to have some conflict in, excuse me, not getting along or some arguments, whatever, lately, because a lot of people have been under confined situations with the way current events and world events have been. And so it may have brought about a lot of stress and anxiety into a relationship. You have Page of Pentacles. You do get that message of coming through from your partner. And this is, I think, them communicating what they really do want. And I think that they are communicating that they do want to, they do want to move forward. They're not as indecisive as you are worrying. And I think they do eventually at some point, maybe if they're a little agitated or temperamental, that I think that this shows that they bring their bring things down a bit and kind of get to the point where you can discuss things. You can kind of air your grievances, so to speak, and that's kind of how I see this with this Five of Wands. There's an airing of grievances. There's some things that need to be discussed, and I think that this some of this is a lot of hype over nothing. But we're going to look at the Five of Wands and see where this is going in July, because you do have a little bit of struggle in this, but I think you have yourself and your partner both fighting for what you want, and I think most of all what you want is to be heard, both of you, and I think that's how this kind of looks to me. The Empress. So the Empress to me is showing up as a nurturing figure, and so I think that when there's a difference in opinion, or somebody feels like they're not being heard, or that what their input doesn't matter, I think that's a lot of what this is about. And the Empress is that need for a softer, more feminine type of energy. And I don't mean when it comes to one's gender, but this is requiring a softer feminine energy, and this does feel very much about family. So there might be arguments about family, there might be arguments or disagreements about what's going on in the family, how to handle things, how to smooth things over, how to move forward. And I think the Empress is saying two things here. It's twofold: to soften things up, to take down the aggression, and I don't mean physical aggression, but this is just the feeling, the mood, and how things are being communicated, because this is all about your family. This is all about your home environment. And you may not have children with this person, but I think for a majority of the people that this resonates with, this is about the home life and children and family. And I think this is saying that this is what the focus needs to be. I said that earlier. It needs to be on not just you and your partner, but the whole picture, the whole home and family dynamic. We're going to clarify the Emperor, because that's the other one that I want to look at, because that's the outcome, and that to me shows that there's a realignment of stability, and it's a positive card. But you know, this could be a little bit of a battle to get there. But let's see. Let's clarify this with a couple cards. We might need 2 or 3 cards even to clarify this, but we'll see what comes out. You have the Queen of Pentacles. So, like I said, this is definitely all about family, home life, and this could involve a young child. There could be so many disagreements that I almost feel like it really just is much ado about nothing. And sometimes we can be stubborn when we have a point of view or a feeling about something. So this could represent some of that stubbornness coming through here in this reading. And again, this is saying to focus on family life, home life, focus on the big picture, and everything will be okay. So Taurus, if you've been kind of going through that struggle, I think that this is coming through for those of you that have that bigger family dynamic. And let's see what you have for one last message, Taurus. Tick-tock. All right. This to me says this has been going on for some time, and I think you're tired of it. You're kind of fed up with it, and you want things to kind of just come to an end. Whatever's been going on, you want it to settle down, and you might feel like it's getting a little old, a little tiresome, and I think you're ready just to move on from things. But I think this is also saying you got to be patient. You got to work through some things, and things will kind of, you'll get a restoration of things back to the way they were. I do feel that. All that glitters also. So the message I get from this is all that glitters is gold, but not all that glitters has to be gold. So look at things in this situation and in your life with your partner, and really look at the higher value in your relationship. Look at the things that are important to you in your relationship. They may not be the finest things in life, but it is a solid foundation, and things that sometimes we look at things like that they're not it's not as good as I wanted it to be. There's not as much as I wanted there to be, or I wanted something else. But this is this to me, the message is to look at there is such a higher value in the simple things in your relationship, and it doesn't have to be something that's made of gold. It doesn't have to be something that's expensive, because I think maybe this is saying to not lose sight of what is really, really, truly of value in your relationship. To me, that's the message I get intuitively with that card. So, with that said, don't forget, you have the Knight of Cups here, okay? And this is, to me, like the Knight is working through this. And it's being done in a way that feels, it's with love, it's with care, it's with passion. This Knight is kind of traversing through the month of July, and it is very much the center of your relationship. I think that this Knight of Cups here is to bring realignment into your relationship and to restore balance and harmony. That Magician is that external influence. So there is influences. There are influences. There is a bigger force here at play that's trying to bring a realignment, and in order for that realignment to happen, a lot of little things have to be just let go. And I think big thing is to not worry so much. Focus on your home life, your family life. Focus on the bigger picture, and maybe not just your partner. And I think things do get better. The Queen of Pentacles, there's a lot of love here, and there's a lot of caring for that home environment, and the overall feeling that brings into your life. There is a lot of nurturing of children, and nurturing of your environment. So it's to me, this Emperor and this Queen of Pentacles is about restoring that feminine masculine balance in your relationship this month. So I'm gonna end it here, and I'm gonna say that July looks a little bumpy, but whatever happens, just remember things things will work out. We all have bumpy times in our lives, and we just have to work through them. And I think that you'll get through it, and I think there'll be a restoration, a realignment of what's important and what's good in your life with your partner and your family. So, Taurus, I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to say have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you again a little bit later.